Buddhism has a word that resonates with something physicists began uncovering in 1801. The word is Sunyata. Not the emptiness of nothing, the emptiness of inherent existence. Some thinkers see the double slit experiment as demonstrating a structurally resonant principle in a laboratory, more than a century before quantum mechanics existed to describe it. This changes how you understand the act of observation itself. Every act of interaction participates in shaping what becomes definite. Before the explanation, test something directly. Look at your hand. Is it a wave or a particle? The question is not absurd. At the quantum level, the answer depends on interaction and measurement. Without a detector measuring which path it takes, matter behaves as a wave, described by a spread of possible positions simultaneously. Add a detector, and the interference disappears. A definite outcome appears. Your hand appears as a definite object because the universe is running the equivalent of a constant measurement on it. What would your hand be if no conditions were interacting with it? Buddhism and quantum mechanics give structurally resonant answers. Here is what this video maps precisely. The electron in the double slit experiment has no definite position before measurement. Not a hidden position we cannot see, no position at all. The Buddhist concept of Sunyata, formulated by the philosopher Nagarjuna in approximately 150 CE, says all phenomena lack inherent existence before conditions arise. These are structurally resonant descriptions arrived at from two independent directions. 2,000 years apart, one from physics, one from direct investigation of the nature of reality itself. This video maps the double slit experiment against Nagarjuna's Madhyamaka framework precisely, then adds the Vedic tradition's convergent description, then gives you the investigation both frameworks prescribe. In 1801, a physician named Thomas Young shone light through two narrow slits onto a screen behind them. He expected to see two bands of light, one for each slit. He saw an interference pattern, dozens of alternating bands of light and dark. Light was behaving as a wave. Each wave passed through both slits simultaneously. The two waves interfered with each other. Constructive interference produced the bright bands. Destructive interference produced the dark ones. A single photon produced an interference pattern consistent with passing through both paths. Then physicists added a detector, a device to measure which slit the particle passed through. The interference pattern vanished. The particle passed through one slit, behaved as a particle, landed in one of two locations. Richard Feynman called this the central mystery of quantum mechanics. Every attempt to explain why interaction changes the result leads back to the same question. What is the electron before it is observed? Mathematics answers this precisely. It is a wave function, a probability distribution spread across all possible positions simultaneously. It has no definite position, not a hidden position, no definite measured position at all. The wave function describes potentiality. Measurement produces a definite outcome. This is the boundary physics has reached. One thing physics is precise about here. The wave function collapse does not require a conscious observer. Any physical interaction, any detector, any particle collision, any measuring apparatus is sufficient to produce a definite outcome. The observer does not need to be a mind. This is where Nagarjuna's framework becomes more precise, not less. Sunyata does not require consciousness either. It says phenomena lack inherent existence prior to any conditions, conscious or not. The detector is a condition. The particle interaction is a condition. The principle holds regardless of whether the condition is a physical detector or just the surrounding environment itself. Both investigations point toward structurally resonant patterns. In both frameworks, existence appears conditioned rather than inherent. Nagarjuna was not a physicist. He had no particle accelerator. He had no differential equations. He had a different instrument entirely. Direct investigation of the nature of phenomena through rigorous philosophical analysis. His central finding, stated precisely in the Mūlamadhyamakakārikā, is one of the most important claims in the history of philosophy. All phenomena lack svabhāva. Svabhāva means inherent existence, self-nature, the property of existing independently, prior to and apart from all conditions. Nagarjuna's argument. If a phenomenon had svabhāva, if it existed inherently and independently, it could not arise through conditions. It would simply be what it is, unchangeably, unconditionally. But nothing we observe exists this way. Everything arises through conditions. Everything changes when conditions change. Therefore, nothing has svabhāva. This is Sunyata, not nothing, not illusion, not the denial of experience. The recognition that phenomena arise dependently, not inherently. The electron has no definite position before measurement. This is not a measurement problem. Viewed through the lens of Sunyata, the electron's position can be interpreted as lacking svabhāva. Its measured position arises dependently through the conditions of interaction and observation. Place Nagarjuna beside the double slit directly. Physics. The electron has no definite position before observation. Sunyata. Phenomena have no inherent existence before conditions arise. Physics. Measurement produces a definite state. Sunyata. Conditions produce apparent existence. Physics. Remove the detector, the wave returns. Sunyata. Remove the conditions, svabhāva cannot be found. 2,000 years. Two completely independent investigations. Structurally resonant conclusions. Now let us test this directly. Not as a concept, as a direct investigation. The investigation the Madhyamaka tradition invites is this. Sit comfortably, eyes closed if possible. Notice that you are aware right now. Now ask the question Nagarjuna asks about every phenomenon. Does this awareness have svabhāva? Does it exist independently prior to all conditions as a self-contained, self-sufficient thing? Look for it, not the content of awareness, not thoughts, sensations, sounds, the awareness itself. Can you find it as a definite, located, bounded thing? The double slit says, before measurement, no definite position. Nagarjuna says, before conditions, no svabhāva. What you are resting in right now is not nothing. It is awareness without svabhāva present, functioning, awake, but not locatable, as a separate inherent thing. This is what both investigations point toward, not as a conclusion to accept, as a reality to notice directly. Let the breath return naturally. The Vedic tradition maps this from a third direction. The Mandukya Upanishad, one of the shortest Upanishads, describes 4 states of consciousness. Jagrat, the waking state. Svapna, the dream state, Sushupti, deep sleep, and Turiya. Turiya is not a state alongside the others. It is the ground in which all states arise, the unmanifest from which the manifest appears. Some interpreters see the wave function and Turiya as describing structurally similar territory, the unmanifest and the potential. Measurement parallels the arising of Jagrat, the waking state, the appearance of definite existence through conditions. 3 traditions, 3 independent investigations, structurally resonant conclusions. Before conditions, potentiality, through conditions, apparent definite existence. The definite exists dependently, not inherently. Before the close, a viewer from last week's video made a connection worth acknowledging directly. In the comments on the Feynman and Paravidya video, a viewer pointed to chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita, Kshetra and Kshetrajna, the field and the knower of the field. Some readers see a striking symbolic parallel here. The comparison is interpretive but worth exploring. Kshetra, the field, refers to everything that can be known or experienced, the body, the mind, the changing field of phenomena. Kshetrajna, the knower of the field, is that which knows the field, not another object within experience, but the witnessing principle aware of it. Viewed through this lens, some interpret Kshetra as resonating with the language of fields and potentiality, and Kshetrajna as pointing toward the mystery of observation itself. This is not a claim that the Gita describes quantum mechanics. It is a symbolic comparison, an attempt to place 2 very different investigations side by side. One asks about matter and measurement, the other asks about experience and the knower of experience. Different questions, yet for some readers, a resonant pattern. The next video follows this thread directly. In 1801, Thomas Young demonstrated that light behaves as a wave, showing interference patterns where none were expected. In 1927, this was confirmed for matter. Electrons, particles of matter, produce the same interference patterns. The wave collapses when measured. The definite state arises through conditions, no definite position. In approximately 150 CE, Nagarjuna arrived at a resonant conclusion from a different direction. All phenomena lack svabhāva. They arise dependently, not inherently. The Mandukya Upanishad described the unmanifest field from which all apparent existence arises. 3 investigations. 1 resonant finding. Phenomena do not exist independently. They arise through conditions. The act of interaction is not the discovery of a pre-existing fact. It is a condition. And what exists before the conditions arise, the wave function, Sunyata, Turiya, is not nothing. It is the field that contains all possibilities. Ancient wisdom, quantum mystery, direct knowing. This is quantum gnosis.